Alright everyone, here's a update for my Shatter Nuke for the Mesmer. I know some people have been asking about how the build works and some updates since some of the new patches. So this is for PvP only. I do use the same build for PvE. And here's essentially the weapon set and why I use it. So Greatsword primary, and I use the Sigil of Strength and Accuracy just to boost that chance to critical, and then also use the Rune of Strength. You do get a lot of might builds, and then your shatters also count. So with your boost to critical chance off of your shatter, you could definitely get 3 criticals off of one build, plus you gain might every time you shatter, plus the possibility of 60% per shatter giving you more might. So you stack up might with one nuke mind wreck with all 3 guys, and then yourself if you're inside the fight. With that, you stack up a lot of might. You switch over to your short sword, and then you just tear somebody apart with easily 5-6 stacks of might on top of you, and the extended durations. So there's a couple of things. I keep a focus handy. I don't rebuild my kit to adapt to using the focus. The reason why PvP dual swords works best because you already have Blurred Frenzy, which is a dodge. Keeping your stats up and having illusionary persona, when you use your distortion, you can automatically get a dodge. So any clones you have out during that time, you're getting more time to dodge. So there's a dodge. Your illusionary reprisal is a dodge. Then you have your 2 dodges, plus Blurred Frenzy is another dodge. Then you have some control for your knockback and whatnot. So if you're going to use the I call it the conch shell, but if you're using the focus, you're losing one of your dodges, but you gain a more ranged interrupt. Also, if you're dealing with any pesky rangers, you could easily use that. But for skills, I play a little more adaptive. The game is usually not long enough in PvP for any of these longer ones. For example, your 210 seconds. You're only maybe going to effectively use this once. If you're going to try to use it really early in the game, and you might get another one later on. Also, Polymorph is good against those pesky Necros who like to use pets. However, again, you're probably only going to get maybe 2 good hits off of it. Your mass invisibility, you could probably get about 3 or 4 shots off during the course of the game. It's very useful when you're running into combat, out of combat. Definitely when you want to cloak some allies and they think that maybe one of your guys or you are the only ones coming in, and whole team of stealth ninjas comes out and has fun with your enemy. But also your decoy gives you another way to get out. Using it right, you would drop your stealth decoy, and if you wanted to change it over, you just use blink, teleport away, dodge, maybe drop another decoy. So when you appear, they're not entirely sure which one you are, especially if you stay still and just use your beam attack. Your number 1 attack off your greatsword. If you think about how PvP works and how your opponent is watching you, a good player knows, for example, when a Mesmer goes down and he uses his second ability to escape, he'll always be the second one to decloak. However, in combat, sometimes they're not paying attention, especially if you teleport behind where their character is. So you're actually teleporting into their camera. You'll end up behind their vision, and they don't know where you are or who decloaks first. So you could abuse that in the right ways and use that as a good manipulation method to change a battlefield. You can also use mirror images if you wanted a quick shatter. You can drop both of those to dodge into your target. That'll immediately drop 3 clones and do some damage. Now, I use the Phantasmal Discharger, not for condition and boon removal. It isn't reliable. However, it's a 16-second spawn for shatter food. If you're going to use a straight-up null field, then yeah, you have a reliable way to get rid of conditions every 40 seconds. Although, you can get a chance every 16 seconds to remove some conditions. Also, if you keep them up, I've had a few times where I use the Berserker as well as the Discharger and the Dischanner, and it works out well, especially when you have a lot of combat going on and you are waiting for them to expend their heal, and then you just drop the nuke on them all at once. So that's my build. It's easily adjustable. It's I mean that not everybody likes to play the same exact build. Otherwise, this game would get really old. But just a quick rundown. I use 4 stats into domination, mental torment, and the greatsword training. And then in dueling, I use the blade training as well as the deceptive evasion, and then a full stack on illusions for precise wreck. I use phantasmal haste in case I do leave my illusions out. I do like them to attack faster. It's definitely worth it. I was using for a while the additional bounce, but there's only one attack that gets that bounce, and it usually ends up just dropping an extra strength on an ally nearby, which you're going to shatter your illusion anyway, so it doesn't really help. And one last thing. Last time I had, for my video, I'd done an explanation on why you do a certain attack first. And here's why. There's a glitch where when you're attacking with your greatsword, your greatsword's unblockable when you use your number 2 attack. However, certain guardians, there's a glitch where they have their Aegis on and dodge. Now, if you dodge it, you can't hit them. However, with unblockable, if you throw it and it hits their Aegis, sometimes it won't drop your illusion. However, it won't have a target to bounce off of. So if you reliably always put your berserker down first, no matter what happens, that sword will always have someone else to bounce off of. And then from there, you can just work your target. So it's up to you if you want to risk using just the mirror blade right off the bat. It's not always going to drop a clone on certain characters. It's more reliable if you always put down your berserker first and then bounce the mirror blade off of it. And if by chance you don't drop your illusion, once that sword bounces off your berserker, he's going to gain a few stacks of might, and if he manages to come through one more time, it's going to be a lot more painful. So that's the build for now. Here's the key setup. So I've got the Sigil of Accuracy, Sigil of Strength, and I've got that on both Sigil of Accuracy and Sigil of Strength. And then, of course, the Rune of Strength, and then full Berserker build. And then that's the stat line.